I'm good at it. Sometimes so good that I don't even know my own feelings anymore. Except with Oscar. He makes me laugh, he teases me, and forces me to tease him back. He lights up when he smiles. Even now when he's not here, he's almost managing to make me cry. You know what bollocks about how you clearly don't like him or anything like that? Clearly do after saying something like that. He's been my best friend all these years. I owe him everything, but I won't let him ruin his life for me. But if through some miracle I were granted an estate of my own, I still wouldn't marry him. I might consider it. Consider? After saying all that, you would only consider it? It's like, oh, I wouldn't let him ruin my life for him. Although that's the only thing stopping me. Although if I did get it, I still wouldn't marry him. No, that option makes no sense. I might consider it. Then perhaps. Oscar and I have been together so long, I don't know what I would do without him. He is sometimes clumsy and foolish, yes, but with a heart like a star, always optimistic, always dreaming, always kind, and sometimes I imagine. No, he's a prince. He's allowed to be a dreamer. I can't afford to waste my time thinking about what might have been. I don't want to lose him, but I have no choice. Falling in love would only bring disaster. Whatever my feelings, I must harden my heart against him. Oh, we're gonna fix that, lady. We're gonna fix that. No girls with heart or steel on my watch. At least he's had the sense to avoid the indignity of a scene. He claims this letter ends the matter with no reply necessary. If we never speak of this again, he can believe whatever comforts him the most. That's what matters after all. His comfort, his future. This girl really does think like a maid, doesn't she? And also, I said in part 1 that Oscar can't even woo a maid. Damn how I was wrong. But if this necklace is a love token, wearing it openly might give him false hope, or raise question from others. It would not benefit his chances from a princess to have me seen as his paramour. Wear the necklace, don't wear the necklace. Well... that's really awkward. Come on. You gonna make me do something like that? You know what? I don't like doing the right thing. Fuck it. We're wearing it. Fuck the princess and fuck everything she stands for. Plus, she's related to someone in Scooby-Doo, so, you know, she's got Shaggy. I suppose. The only thing that Oscar asked for was a sign that I knew and accepted his feelings. Not that I shared them. How can I deny him that? That's not quite my reasoning behind it, but that will do. I fastened the clasp with the chain behind my neck and let the smooth, cold stones settle against my chest. It's just a little trinket after all. No one but Oscar will even notice. Famous last words. Never say something like that. In fact, everything has been put into jeopardy, because you said that. So, then, that is resolved. It is done, and I don't need to think about it again. But then, what should I think about? I'm at a loose end. I have no assignments or tasks to perform. I can't help Oscar in any way until he returns in the evening, and the servants' dinner will not be available for hours yet. With no goal in mind, there's nothing to be gained at the moment by exploring, and thus no balance to the risk of being caught somewhere where I shouldn't be. In that Welsh word, is that a reference to something I don't get, or is that just deliberately an awkward word? I'd love to know. I would have many options available for any windfall of free time, but there are limits to how one should amuse oneself in a foreign place. Mending, if it were needed. Reading. Cards? I would draw 2 decks of cards from my belongings and begin to arrange them into the 10 tableaux of a thief's forest. It is a difficult game requiring patience and skill, extracting kins and wisdoms from a solid castle that should never be an easy task. I'll tell you what I know a game. It's called a clock. It's a form of solitaire. Yeah? You wave, you know that, yeah? No one will. As for the lesser royals, they sometimes extract themselves. Oscar must have dodged all of this in all of his minders in order to buy that token without raising questions. Well, if I provided the motivation for him to stretch himself a bit, that's all to the good. A prince should learn how to plan ahead and to take bold action. His parents might not be pleased by his reasons, but better a misguided attachment than some foolish plan about joining the jongleurs or apprenticing into an alchemist. Oh, she doesn't like alchemists. One card then another. I have done my job the best that I could. I have straightened his posture and flattened his looks. Flattened? That would be a horrible thing to do. Flattered his looks. I kept him active but unharmed. I have eavesdropped and intrigued on his behalf. If I had truly convinced him to give up the poetry, I could consider it a complete success. But on the balance, all is well. No doubt he will make a royal marriage at some point. Only, not too soon, I hope. He's young, and I'm not ready to move on. She speaks about this like a relationship. But pretty much as soon as she's told it's a relationship, she jumps 5 steps backwards and goes, "No, it can't be!" etc. I don't know why she sounds like the Joker from Batman, but sure. Sometime later, my card game is interrupted by a knock at the door. Opening it, I find a young man in the livery of a page. Man? Oh, woman. I was gonna say, I mean, like, it doesn't look like much of a man. Ah, a young woman in the livery of a page. Young, yes, younger than myself, if I am any guess, but old for such a rank, 14 being the usual wage in Wales. That's what we're calling that. We're just calling it Wales. Oh no, she looks a bit older than 14. You're summoned to the upper servants' dinner, miss. I'll escort you, yes? I can find my own way. Well, you maybe could, but it's as it's my job, I'll walk with you. Fine. No doubt she's dawdling with me in order to avoid some more onerous duty. I can't blame her. I played the same game myself. That's a pretty thing you're wearing. My hand flies by instinct to cover the amber stone. I force myself to relax. Thank you. Mind your toes at dinner, miss. That's Sophie's folk are here, and they're hard people. What does that mean? Mind your toes? Damn. You're gonna come with, like, Scunthorpe boots. Sophie? The Duchess Sophia. Only she's not here on account she's just had a baby, you see. But she's cousin to the princess, so she had to send her people, and they complain about everything, you'll see. And her husband, the Duke? Duke Ferrod. He's at the ball, of course. Of course. His husband? Why is he at the ball? Right, yeah, God knows. And if I wish to catch a glimpse of the illustrious personage? Such a what? Oh, you want to spy on the ball? Easiest way is through the servants' door in the second morning hall. You turn left and go up half a stair to the viewing passage. The viewing passage? Well, it's good they know we don't do this kind of thing. Dear God. Different ways better if you want to get in fast when someone calls you, but just for looking, that's the best. Thank you. Her language skills may be unpolished, but she does know her way around. She might even be a useful source of information during our stay here. Have you heard any interesting stories lately? Always stories of so... What? This isn't a fucking massive RPG. That's something you'd ask in a D&D tabletop session. Oh dear. Always story... Yeah, I'm just kind of thinking about that. It makes no sense. Why would you ask someone like that something? She also seems like a gossip. Dear God, she has pink hair. Right. Always stories with so many guests, miss. There's a gentleman's son throwing coals, of course. Some other fellows wearing the same tailoring. And I heard about the boot boy, that one of them had to be sent home in disgrace for planning to cause a scene at the ball. They were going to have a fight about clothes? Oh no, it wasn't those. This was a young lady who'd heard the story about the princess dying of the Well, it's a sad bite to say it, but there's rumours sometimes. What rumours? That the little princess was the same way as her brother Caspian, and the one we've got now is an imposter. Anyone who's ever seen the princess and the king's wisdom together knows better. Sometimes some little miss who hadn't was planning to make a name for herself, till her lord father, who had, got wind of it. Hey, it could be an elaborate hoax. I mean, they can make you look as stupid as that. I'm sure they can make a replica of someone. If anyone's ever seen the film Dave with Kevin Kline, they'll know exactly what I mean. Imagine that, standing plain as you please, telling all the lady whatevers they're cuckoos and not ladies at all. You'd turn the whole country upside down. I shudder at the thought. But there's no truth to it? Not to that, no, but I'd like to see it anyway. What sort of person would want to see a woman told her parents aren't her parents? Even if your family no longer cares about you, even if you've never missed them, they're what made you. To have that taken away, and in public, for everyone to see your humiliation? How could anyone want that? Such a common, mean-spirited girl might make a useful informant, but I certainly could never trust her with anything. Begging your pardon, miss, but we're there now. Have a nice meal. What? We haven't moved, have we? I was just reading the text. I don't think we've moved. I might be wrong. And I'm leaving my cards. Oh no, someone's going to steal them. She leaves me to enter the dining room. As the lowest servant, her own supper will not be for some time yet. There's high servants and lower servants. Check that out. Right. And so I join the others of my rank, the confidants and supporters of the noble elite. It is not difficult to identify the footmen of Duke Ferrod. Despite their position, they are a mismatched pair of clothing so plain that it barely merits the title of uniform. Ouch. Damn, girl, she got America's top model. I'm going like a stone. Yeah, girl. What am I doing? They sit in silence and stare at the palace servants, who give them a wide berth. It would appear there is some long-standing disagreement in Guelinor between the royal family and this Duke and Duchess, one that extends even to the servant ranks. The attendants of the other guests are far more sociable, even Prince Gaston's shy little maid. We are all made welcome to the table and the generous helpings of well-prepared food, much of which is still warm. Damn, there's some low standards you got. Accompanying our meal is a pale and delicate sherry of a variety which does not keep well once the bottles have been breached. Thus we are encouraged to drain and try. I myself partake only moderately, but Prince Nazaki's chief valet appears to be half fish by the way he drinks. Come on! Cut the guy some slack. He's the servant to, like, an evil lord. He's got to put back all those things he's seen to the back of his mind with drink. Come on. Help the guy out here. Oh dear. At the conclusion of the meal, we are treated to pastries and tiger nut milk. Tiger nut milk? The fuck is that? And all assembled are duly awed by the royal largesse. Afterwards, the proper thing to do is to return to our rooms to await my master. What I intend to do, of course, is something less than proper. To find the viewing chamber that the page mentioned, and cast my eyes over the festivities. Guarding Oscar from hidden dangers is another facet of my role. Whether those dangers be a sword in the dark alley, or a social schemer out to trip him up. Anything could happen to him if I'm not there to watch. Oh, don't tell me this is going to be like Long Live the Queen. Where just, you can die by anything. You took a left step in front of a right step, and then suddenly there was a rock in front of you. You fell all the way into the pits of hell and died. That's what Long Live the Queen reminds me of. Right, I'm sure everything is fine. Oscar has never had any difficulties with dancing lessons. Oh dear. And still, he might make little mistakes, and it would fall to me to discover those faults and train them out. He is, after all, a prize stallion of a sort. A very weird sort. Shaking my head slightly to the image of Oscar as a fearsome warhorse, I slip into the servants' passages. They don't look like servants' passages. I imagine something like out of Dragon Age. Like rocks on the wall and shit falling down. I mean, this looks like the backstage of a theatre. It is clear that these unfinished corridors are not intended for the eyes of those above the salt, even in the dim lighting. Dim lighting? Really? The exposed surfaces are a rough contrast to the splendour elsewhere. Dark, yes, but not very dusty. Either someone is assigned to clean these, and even these unseen areas, or this location gets far more use than I'd expect. Perhaps there are always dances, or perhaps there are so few that this passage makes the ideal rendezvous point for more private pursuits. There, a peephole. Oh, I kind of thought someone else would see. See, be there. No, not see. The crush of music and laughter is already clear. Moving closer, I can see wigs and ball gowns below. Oscar must be out there somewhere, but it takes a few minutes to pick him out. I hear footsteps approaching it, and at first think nothing of it. There are a number of servants in the palace after all, but that is not a servant.